Dr. Elias Monroe was a quiet man. He worked as a xenobotanist on the orbital station called Cygnus 9, a large space station that floated above a peaceful blue planet. Most people came to Cygnus 9 for trade, politics, or transport. Elias came for the plants. In his small lab on the lower deck, he studied alien plants and their healing properties. His life was calm and quiet, just the way he liked it. He grew plants from 100 different worlds. Some glowed in the dark, others moved slightly when touched. They were his friends, in a way. That morning, he was trimming the leaves of a moonflower vine when the station lights turned red. A loud voice echoed through the halls. Security alert. All personnel remain in place. Diplomats arriving under emergency protection. Elias looked up but didn't worry. Cygnus 9 often hosted visitors from powerful planets and rich companies. It wasn't his business. He went back to his plants. But 5 minutes later, something very strange happened. The lab door opened suddenly, and 2 station guards stepped inside. Behind them walked a woman who did not look like anyone Elias had ever seen. She was tall and graceful, wearing a long robe made of soft silver threads that shimmered like water. Her skin had a gentle glow, almost like moonlight, and her eyes were bright purple, full of sadness and wisdom. Her hair flowed behind her like a soft cloud. She looked otherworldly. She walked past the guards and stood in front of Elias. The guards looked confused and unsure. The woman spoke, her voice soft but clear. "Everyone wants to own me," she said, "but I want you." Elias blinked. "Excuse me." She looked at him with calm eyes. "My name is Seraphine. I am Villari." Elias's mouth dropped open a little. "Villari? That's impossible. The Villari are gone. Extinct. Lost hundreds of years ago." She gave a small nod. "That is what they believe. But I survived. I woke only last week from the sleep my people gave me long ago." The guard stepped forward, unsure what to do. "Ma'am, we were told you would speak with the Grand Ambassador first, not a botanist." Seraphine shook her head. "They want to use me." "He does not." The guards looked at Elias, confused. "Do you know this woman?" "No," Elias said honestly, "but I think I should." Seraphine turned to the guards. "Leave us. I will speak only to him." The guards hesitated. Then, slowly, they stepped back. They left the room and closed the door. Now it was just Elias and the alien woman. Elias felt nervous, but Seraphine did not seem dangerous. She walked slowly through the lab, touching the leaves of his plants gently. Her fingers were long and elegant. "You grow these with care," she said softly. "That is rare." "Thank you," Elias said. "I study plant life from other worlds. I help understand how they work, how they heal. It's quiet work, nothing exciting." Seraphine smiled. "Quiet can be good. My world was once full of voices. Too many, too loud." She turned and looked at him again. "I came here because I need someone who will see me as a person, not as a treasure, not as a weapon." Elias didn't know what to say. "But why me?" "You did not run to the news cameras. You did not call your leaders. You simply watched, calm and curious. That is how trust begins." He sat down, still trying to understand what was happening. "Are you in danger?" "Yes," Seraphine said. "There are those who already know I am awake. They want to capture me, not because they hate me, but because they think I can give them power." "Can you?" Elias asked gently. Seraphine looked away. "Perhaps. My people built great things long ago. We had the ability to connect with living machines. We could speak to ships, heal cities, and open doors that no others could. But those gifts came with a cost. We became too important, too wanted. And then, we vanished." She touched one of the plants. Its leaves changed color under her fingers. "Now I am the last, and I don't want to be a tool again." Elias looked at her carefully. "What do you want?" Seraphine turned to him. her voice clear. I want a friend. I want a place where I am not owned, not feared, not worshipped. I want to learn who I am without being pulled apart. Elias nodded slowly. I can't promise much, but I can promise I won't treat you like a thing. Seraphine smiled. That is more than most would offer. Just then, a soft beep came from Elias's wall console. It was a message from Station Command. Dr. Monroe, we have been informed that the alien visitor has entered your lab. Please secure her until official representatives arrive. He looked at the screen, then at Seraphine. What will you do? He asked. She looked at him with calm eyes. Will you help me, or will you give me to them? Elias took a deep breath. He looked around his small lab, at his plants, his tools, his peaceful life. He had never wanted to be part of anything big or dangerous. But now, this moment felt important. I'll help you, he said, but we need to leave. Soon. Seraphine nodded. Then we must go now. They will come for me quickly. Elias grabbed his small bag of tools and opened a hidden drawer beneath the lab table. Inside was a backup data chip and a key to his personal ship docked under the station. He had never used it for anything exciting. It was slow, quiet, and built for science missions. But maybe that was perfect. He turned to Seraphine. Let's go. As they walked out of the lab and into the dim hallway, Seraphine whispered, Thank you. And for the first time, Elias felt like his quiet life had a new purpose. Dr. Elias Monroe had never broken a rule in his life. He followed schedules. He kept his lab clean. He submitted his reports on time. But now he was running through a space station with a glowing alien woman beside him. And he had no idea what would happen next. Seraphine moved quietly, her silver robe flowing behind her like water. She walked as if she didn't need to look where she was going. She followed Elias with trust, and Elias felt a strange sense of responsibility. They took the service tunnels. The main halls were already full of guards. Elias knew they would soon block every exit. Where are we going? Seraphine asked. My ship, Elias said. It's small, but it can fly under the radar. He tapped a panel on the wall. The tunnel opened into a dark hangar. His ship waited at the far end. The quiet Perseverance. It wasn't beautiful. It wasn't fast. But it had never failed him. They stepped into the ship, and Elias closed the door behind them. The inside was neat and simple. One pilot seat, one passenger seat, a storage shelf, and a bunk. No weapons, just science gear and plant samples. Elias sat in the pilot's seat and powered up the engines. They'll try to stop us, he said. Then let's not let them. Seraphine replied calmly. Outside, lights flashed red. A voice shouted through the speakers. Unauthorized launch detected. Cancel at once. This is your final warning. Elias hesitated, but only for a moment. He pulled the lever. The ship shook slightly, then rose from a hangar and slipped into open space. The stars spread out before them like 1,000 glowing eyes. Cygnus 9 grew smaller behind them. Elias let out a breath he didn't know he was holding. You did it, Seraphine said. I think I just became a criminal, Elias replied. Seraphine gave him a soft smile. Or a friend. They flew in silence for a while. Elias set the ship on a safe course toward the edge of the sector. It would take them a few days to reach a quieter part of space where no one could track them easily. Why did you choose me? Elias finally asked. You could have gone to any powerful leader. Seraphine looked out the window. Power does not care for peace. Power only wants more power. You, Elias, wanted only peace. That is why I trusted you. She placed her hand on a small plant that Elias had brought with him. Its leaves glowed faintly under her touch. There is something else, she said quietly. Something I must show you. Elias turned in his seat. What is it? Seraphine reached into her robe and pulled out a crystal. It was clear and shaped like a teardrop, but it shined with light from inside. She held it out to him. "This is a Velari seed crystal," she said. "It is very old, very rare. My people used it to speak to our starships, our cities, even the stars themselves." Elias looked at it carefully. "What does it do?" "It listens," Seraphine said. "And when it finds someone it can trust, it shares knowledge, healing, understanding." She placed the crystal in his hand. Elias felt a soft warmth, like a calm breeze or the touch of sunlight. A peaceful hum filled his mind. For a moment, he saw flashes, images of tall trees, shining cities, floating gardens. Then it stopped. Seraphine watched him closely. "It chose you." "Me?" Elias looked surprised. "Why me?" "The seed crystals were not made for power," Seraphine said. "They were made for balance. Only those with peaceful hearts and open minds can connect with them. You are one of those few." Elias sat back, still holding the crystal. "What do I do with it?" "You learn," Seraphine said, "and you protect it. Because others will come for it. And for me." As if her words had power, the ship's alarm rang. Elias checked the scanner. 2 ships. Fast. They're following us. "Who are they?" Seraphine asked. "Hard to tell," Elias said. "But their ID codes are private. Could be bounty hunters. Or worse." He changed course quickly, moving the ship through an asteroid field nearby. The quiet Perseverance was slow, but it was quiet. It could hide better than most ships. They moved between rocks and shadows, avoiding the scanners. The other ships followed, but they couldn't find them right away. Seraphine placed her hand on the crystal again. It glowed brighter. "What are you doing?" Elias asked. "Helping the ship feel calm," she said softly. "Sometimes machines listen when we speak kindly." Elias wasn't sure what that meant, but strangely, the engines stopped making loud noises. The ship became quieter. The scanners lost their signal. "They can't see us anymore," Elias whispered. "They won't for a while," Seraphine said, "but they will come again." Elias looked at her with respect. "You're more than just rare. You're amazing." Seraphine smiled. "I am simply Velari." They waited for an hour until the chasing ships gave up and left. Elias brought the ship back onto a new course. This time, deeper into unknown space. "We can't keep running forever," Elias said. "We need a place to hide. Or allies." "There is someone who might help," Seraphine said. "An old mind. One of the last who remembers us." "Who?" "A memory," she said, "hidden in a place called the Archive Moon. If it still exists, it will remember who the Velari were, and who I am." "Then that's where we go," Elias said. Seraphine nodded. "But we must be careful. Not all memories are kind." As the stars passed by outside and the seed crystal glowed softly on the dashboard, Elias realized something. His quiet life was over, but something greater had begun. The stars moved slowly outside the window of the quiet Perseverance. The ship was quiet, floating between systems on its way to a forgotten place called the Archive Moon. Inside the ship, Elias and Seraphine sat together in the small cabin. Days had passed since they escaped Cygnus 9. They shared food, cleaned the ship, and talked about simple things. But now, something unspoken hung between them. Seraphine looked calm, but Elias noticed she often stared at the stars for long moments without speaking. "You seem far away," Elias said gently. Seraphine turned her eyes toward him. "I'm thinking about my people. I wonder if I will ever see them again, or if I am truly the last." Elias sat across from her. "You're not alone. I'm here." A soft smile touched her lips. "I know, and that's why I chose you." She placed the Velari seed crystal on the table between them. It glowed faintly, as if breathing. "Have you tried listening to it?" she asked. Elias shook his head. "I don't know how." "You don't need to do anything special," she said. "Just hold it. Think quietly. Let your heart speak." Elias reached out and picked up the crystal. It felt warm and gentle in his hand, like holding a sleeping bird. He closed his eyes. Suddenly, his mind filled with images: a glowing forest, singing rivers, trees with light inside their branches, a city made of crystal and music, and faces, kind, smiling, peaceful faces. Then a voice, not in words, but in feeling, reached him. "You are safe. You are trusted. You are chosen." Elias opened his eyes and gasped. Seraphine was watching him. "You heard it." "Yes," he whispered. "It was beautiful." She nodded. "That was Valerian, the ancient home of the Velari. What you saw was our memory, shared with you. That means the crystal trusts you completely." Elias looked at the crystal. "But I'm just a botanist. I study plants. I'm not special." Seraphine leaned forward. "You are gentle. You are kind. You don't seek control or glory. That is rare. That is special." Elias blushed and looked away. "Thank you." A soft beep from the dashboard broke the quiet moment. "We're almost at the Archive moon," Elias said, checking the controls. "It's in orbit around a dying star." He guided the ship carefully toward the moon. From space, it looked like a cracked ball of ice and stone. Pieces of metal floated around it. Old ships, broken satellites, forgotten machines. As they landed on the surface, dust rose in gentle clouds. The ship touched down softly. "Stay close to me," Seraphine said as they stepped out. "The Archive is old. It may not welcome strangers." They walked across the icy ground toward a dark hill. At the top, a silver door stood alone, half buried in snow. Seraphine placed her hand on the door. The seed crystal glowed in her other hand. The door slowly opened, revealing a tunnel of light. Inside, the walls were smooth and silver, with lights that moved like water. Strange symbols floated in the air, symbols Elias couldn't read, but Seraphine understood. "This is one of the last memory halls," she said. "It stores thoughts and voices from long ago." They walked deeper, passing through rooms filled with floating images and quiet whispers. Then they reached the heart of the Archive, a round chamber with a glowing orb in the center. Seraphine stepped forward. "I call upon the Keeper of Memory." The orb pulsed. Then a voice spoke. It was soft, neither male nor female. "Velari presence confirmed. Identity: Seraphine. Status: last of kin. Welcome." The lights in the room grew brighter. "Who stands beside you?" the voice asked. Seraphine looked at Elias. "He is Elias Monroe of Earth. He is a friend." The orb pulsed again. "Has he touched the seed crystal?" "Yes." "Then he may witness." Suddenly, the room came alive. The walls lit up with images, ancient Velari cities, peaceful gatherings, great works of art and science. Then darker images appeared: ships attacking, fire raining from the sky, Velari falling one by one. Elias stepped back, shocked. Seraphine looked down. That was the end. We were betrayed by those we helped. They wanted our knowledge. They wanted to own us. The images faded. "You have returned, but the world is changed," the voice said. "What do you seek, Seraphine?" "I want to live free," she said. "I want to keep my people's knowledge safe. I want to share it only with those who respect life, not power." "Then you must choose a guardian," the voice replied. Seraphine turned toward Elias. "I choose him." Elias's eyes widened. "Me." The voice spoke again. "Do you accept this role? To protect, not control. To learn, not take." Elias took a breath. He looked at Seraphine, then at the glowing orb. "I accept." The orb glowed brightly, then slowly dimmed. "The bond is made. The path forward is yours." The lights faded. The orb became still. Seraphine turned to Elias. "Now you are part of this, not by force, by choice." Elias nodded. "I don't know what lies ahead, but I'll walk with you." She smiled softly. That is all I ask." They returned to the ship. As they lifted off, the arc of moon grew smaller behind them. But Elias felt something growing inside, a sense of purpose he had never known before. He wasn't just a botanist anymore. He was a guardian. After leaving the arc of moon, Elias Monroe and Seraphine flew quietly through deep space. The stars outside the window shone like peaceful lights. But inside Elias's heart, something had changed. He was no longer just a scientist. He was now a guardian of the seed crystal, chosen by Seraphine and trusted by the ancient knowledge of the Velari. For a few days, things were calm. Seraphine helped Elias understand more about the seed crystal. She taught him how to listen to it, not just with his ears but with his thoughts. He began to feel small messages in his heart, gentle guidance, like a compass showing the right way. One quiet evening, while Seraphine was resting in the small bunk, Elias sat at the ship's control panel, reviewing star maps. Suddenly, the ship's scanner beeped. He leaned forward. "Strange," he whispered. "That's a signal." It wasn't strong, but it was clear. A repeating sound, like a soft song. It came from a nearby system, a small planet with no name on the map. The signal wasn't natural. It was old, very old. He called to Seraphine, and she joined him quickly. "What is it?" she asked. "There's a signal from this planet," Elias said. "But it's not human, and it's not from your archive." Seraphine listened carefully to the soft sound. Her eyes widened. That melody. "It's Velari," she whispered. Elias turned toward her in surprise. "Velari? But I thought all our songs were gone," she said softly. "But this one is a welcome song. It was used long ago to greet visitors with peace." "Then someone might still be there?" Elias asked. "Or something that remembers us," she said. They changed course and headed toward the source of the signal. The journey took a few hours. When they reached the planet, they saw it was covered in green mist and floating stones. Strange plants glowed in the dark. No cities, no ships, just nature. Elias carefully landed the ship near a bright waterfall. They stepped out together, with Seraphine holding the seed crystal in her hands. The air felt soft, like breathing music. Every step they took echoed gently, as if the land was listening. "Where is it coming from?" Elias asked. Seraphine closed her eyes. "That way." They followed a narrow path through glowing grass and strange flowers that opened as they walked by. The signal grew stronger. Soon, they reached a clearing where a small stone tower stood alone. It looked like it had been built long ago. Moss covered the walls, and tiny lights floated in the air. Seraphine stepped closer. "This place is Velari. I can feel it." Inside the tower was a round chamber with a tall, smooth stone in the center. It had a small hole shaped like the seed crystal. Seraphine turned to Elias. "May I place the crystal?" He nodded. "Let's see what it does." She gently set the seed crystal into the stone. At once, the room lit up with soft blue light. A figure appeared, made of light and memory. It looked like an old Velari elder, with peaceful eyes and long flowing robes. It spoke in the Velari language, and Seraphine translated for Elias. "You who hold the seed, welcome. Long ago, we left this place for safety. But one memory remained here, to guide those who return. If you are kind, if you seek peace, then this knowledge is yours." The room filled with light again. Images floated around them, maps, histories, gentle lessons. It was a message of hope. Then the figure turned toward Elias. "Human," it said in his language, "you walk a new path. The crystal has seen your heart. Not all humans seek to control. Some wish to protect. Be strong. Others will come." The image faded. Elias and Seraphine stood in silence. "That was a message from the past," Seraphine said, "but it knew you." Elias touched the stone. "They trusted a stranger like me." "Because you are not just a stranger," she said. You are becoming part of the story. They took the seed crystal and left the tower, but just as they reached the ship, the ground shook slightly. Elias looked at the sky. That wasn't thunder. Seraphine's face turned serious. We are not alone. A large shadow passed overhead. A sleek black ship hovered above them. It had no symbols, no flags, just a cold shape and powerful engines. A voice spoke from above through a loudspeaker. This is Captain Varn of the Dominion Guard. Surrender the Villari female and the crystal, and you will not be harmed. Elias quickly helped Seraphine into the ship, and they took off just as a beam of light hit the ground behind them. Inside the cockpit, Elias steered hard, flying low through the planet's strange valleys. The black ship chased them closely. We can't fight them, Elias said. We're not fast enough. Then we must outsmart them, Seraphine said. She placed her hand on the seed crystal. It glowed again, brighter this time. Suddenly, Elias felt something. New ideas, new thoughts filling his mind. Like a puzzle solving itself. I think I know what to do, he said. He turned the ship sharply toward the large waterfall they saw before. As they flew into the mist, Elias activated the ship's special echo panels, tools he used in botany work to scan plant life. The echo made it look like they went left, while they went right, deep into the waterfall cave. The black ship followed the wrong trail. Inside the cave, Elias turned off the engine. They sat in darkness and silence. After a few minutes, the chasing ship passed and left. Elias let out a breath. That was close. Seraphine looked at him with shining eyes. You did it. No, he said. We did it. They stayed in the cave until the scanners showed the sky was clear. As they rose into space again, Elias felt different. He was no longer just running. He was starting to protect something much bigger than himself. I think this journey is far from over, he said. Seraphine nodded. Yes, and many more will come for us. But we'll be ready, Elias said. Together. The stars blinked softly outside the quiet Perseverance as it moved through dark space. Inside the ship, Elias Monroe and Seraphine were quiet. The seed crystal rested in its case, glowing softly like a sleeping star. Since escaping the black ship of the Dominion Guard, Elias had changed. He felt more alert, more responsible. He was no longer just traveling with Seraphine. He was protecting her. One morning, as Elias checked the scanners, something new appeared. There's a small outpost ahead, he told Seraphine. It's not part of the Dominion. It's human-built, but private. Seraphine looked thoughtful. Can we trust them? I'm not sure, Elias said, but maybe we can hide there. Just for a short time. The outpost orbited a blue moon. It was old and small, but working. Its name flashed on the screen. Waypoint Echo 9. As they approached, a voice came through the radio. Unknown vessel. Identify yourself. Elias pressed the button. This is Elias Monroe, citizen of Earth, requesting temporary landing. Non-combat. Peaceful. The voice was quiet for a moment. Permission granted. Docking Bay 2. They landed gently. The bay was cold, made of dark metal. Only a few lights blinked. As the ship's door opened, a tall man in a gray coat walked in. His beard was short, and his eyes were sharp. Elias Monroe, he said, didn't expect to see your name again. Elias was surprised. Do I know you? The man smiled. Not yet. But I know you. I watch people like you. Seraphine stepped forward slowly. Who are you? The man turned to her with a kind nod. You must be Seraphine. The Villari. He reached into his coat and showed a small silver card. My name is Rylan. I work for Earth's Hidden Research Division. Elias frowned. I've never heard of that. Rylan smiled. Of course not. It's hidden. We study ancient knowledge, alien tech, things Earth isn't ready to talk about. Seraphine looked uneasy. Are you here to take the seed crystal? Rylan raised his hands. No, I'm not the Dominion. I don't steal. I study, I listen, and I help when it's truly needed. Elias still didn't fully trust him. Then why are you here now? Because your signal lit up every secret scanner we have, Ryland said. A Velari signal hasn't been seen in hundreds of years. And suddenly, here it is, traveling with a human botanist. Seraphine spoke carefully. The seed chose Elias, not the other way around. Ryland nodded. That's why I came in peace. He looked at Elias again. You've awakened something, not just in the crystal, but in others. The Dominion won't stop, and they're not the only ones. Elias crossed his arms. What do you want from us? Ryland's voice became soft. I want to offer you protection. I know places where the Dominion can't reach. I know people who still care about peace. Seraphine studied his face. You speak well, but words are easy. Prove your heart. Ryland smiled again. I thought you might say that. He tapped a small button on his wrist. A screen appeared, floating in the air. It showed a large space station hidden behind a gas cloud. Many peaceful ships circled around it. Children played inside. Scientists studied rare plants. Elders from different worlds shared stories. This is Sanctuary 12, Ryland said, a place where refugees and knowledge seekers live together. No one is owned. No one is hunted. You could stay there, at least for a while. Elias looked at Seraphine. Her eyes met his. What do you think? He asked. She closed her eyes for a moment. Let's see it. But if it feels wrong, we leave. Ryland gave a small bow. Of course. They left the outpost and followed Ryland's ship, a quiet silver vessel that glided smoothly through space. It took them 2 days to reach the gas cloud. As they passed through the thick mist, a large shining shape appeared. Sanctuary 12. It looked like a floating garden. Trees grew inside domes. Lights moved slowly like stars. People of many shapes and sizes walked freely. Elias was amazed. It's beautiful. Seraphine gave a small smile. It feels peaceful, but I still feel watched. They landed gently, and Ryland guided them through the station. Children ran past, laughing. A group of beings with glowing skin shared stories near a fountain. It didn't feel like a trap, but something was strange. As they walked through the central garden, Seraphine stopped. The seed, she whispered. It's nervous. Elias touched the seed crystal. It was warm, but its glow was uneven. Ryland noticed something wrong. Seraphine spoke firmly. There is something here, something hidden. Just then, a sound echoed through the station, a low alarm. Warning, unknown vessel entering restricted orbit. Dominion signature detected. Elias froze. They followed us. Ryland looked surprised. No, that's not possible. We're cloaked. Seraphine turned. They aren't looking for the station. They're looking for us. The lights dimmed as the station moved into lockdown. Ryland pulled out a communication badge. We have to move. There's a hidden exit. Come with me. They ran through a narrow hall as shadows passed over the outer dome. The Dominion was scanning nearby. Inside a quiet room, Ryland opened a secret hatch. This leads to the launch bay. I'll hold them off as long as I can. Elias paused. You're helping us. Ryland gave a small smile. You're more important than you know. That crystal, it may hold the key to peace or war. I'd rather it be in your hands. Seraphine looked at Ryland. You spoke the truth. Thank you. They climbed down the hatch and ran to their ship. Elias started the engines quickly. As the Dominion ship circled above, the quiet Perseverance shot out from under the station and vanished into deep space. Inside the ship, they sat in silence for a moment. That was close, Elias said. Seraphine touched the seed crystal. It's calm again. Elias looked out at the stars. Raylan helped us. I didn't expect that. Not all who watch are enemies, Seraphine said, but many more will come, and soon we must make a choice. Elias nodded. To hide, or to stand. She looked at him. I won't run forever. One day we must show the truth. And I'll be with you, Elias said, wherever that path leads. The stars stretched out ahead. Their journey was far from over. Elias and Seraphine flew quietly through space, far away from the gas cloud, and Sanctuary 12. The Dominion had almost caught them again, and now they knew time was running out. Inside the ship, the seed crystal glowed more brightly each day. It pulsed with a soft rhythm, almost like a heartbeat. Elias often sat with it in silence, trying to understand what it wanted to say. Seraphine noticed the change too. One evening, while the stars blinked softly outside the ship window, she spoke. The seed is waking, she said. It is almost ready to show us something. Elias looked at her. What will it show? I don't know, she said, but it will not wait forever. That night, Elias had a strange dream. In the dream, he was standing on a white mountain under a purple sky. The seed crystal floated above his hands. He saw shadows coming from all directions, ships, people, machines, but the crystal shined brighter than all of them. A voice whispered in his mind, the truth lies in the core. Elias woke up with a start. The core, he whispered. But what is it? He told Seraphine about the dream. She looked thoughtful. In old HFY Stories, she said, there was a place called the Core of Light. It was said to be the first home of our kind. The place where the seed crystal was made. Do you know where it is? Elias asked. No, she replied. No one does. It was lost in time. But the seed crystal pulsed brighter that moment, and a small star map glowed above it. Seraphine's eyes widened. It's showing us the way. Elias quickly plotted the course. The journey would be long, across quiet parts of space where few people went, but they had to follow the crystal's guidance. For several days, they traveled in silence. Along the way, they passed broken ships, silent planets, and empty stations. Space felt old out there, forgotten. Finally, they arrived at the edge of a star system with only one small planet. It had no name on any chart, but the seed crystal pulsed with joy. That's it, Elias said. That's the place. The planet below was strange. It was covered in silver grass and bright blue rivers. As they landed, the wind made soft music across the land. This place is alive, Seraphine whispered. They stepped out of the ship and followed the crystal's pull. As they walked, the ground lit up beneath their feet, small lights guiding them forward. Soon, they reached a wide valley filled with giant crystal towers. Some reached the clouds, others lay broken, but all glowed softly. This is it, Seraphine said, the core of light. They entered the largest tower. Inside, the walls were smooth and warm, like glass touched by the sun. At the center stood a large circular door. In the middle of the door was a perfect space, just the right size for the seed crystal. Elias looked at Seraphine. She nodded slowly. He stepped forward and gently placed the crystal into the door. There was a soft hum. The door glowed, then slowly opened. Behind it was a chamber filled with floating lights and memories. Shapes of HFY people danced in the air, telling stories without words. Images of stars, planets, and peaceful gatherings filled the room. A soft voice spoke, not from a person, but from everywhere. You who carry the seed, welcome home. You are the chosen ones. You have returned peace to our path. The lights came together to form a glowing figure, not male or female, but beautiful and calm. The seed crystal was never just powered, the figure said. It is a key to unity. It holds the memory of the HFY and the hope for all beings. Elias stepped closer. But why me? I'm just a human. Because you chose peace, the voice said. You listened. You protected, not for gain, but for love. Seraphine looked at Elias. That's why I trusted you. The figure continued. The seed crystal is now complete. It holds light for all. But others still want it. They will come here. So now you must choose. Will you hide this light forever? Or will you share it, even at great risk? The room fell quiet. Elias looked at Seraphine. What do you think? She took his hand. I was made to be protected. But now, I want to protect others. I want the truth to shine. Elias nodded. Then we share it. But carefully, with those who will listen. The seed crystal floated up into the air. It glowed brighter than ever before. Streams of light shot through the room, passing into the walls, the towers, and the planet itself. The core is awake again, Seraphine said softly. Suddenly, a loud noise echoed outside. Seraphine ran to the doorway and looked up. A black ship was coming through the clouds. The Dominion, she said. They found us. Elias grabbed the seed crystal. We can't let them take it. But something strange happened. As the Dominion ship neared, beams of light rose from the ground. The towers responded to the seed. A protective shield formed around the planet. The black ship fired once, then again, but the shield did not break. Then the seed crystal spoke directly to Elias and Seraphine. Go, share what you've learned. I will protect this place, but the light must spread beyond. The seed crystal floated back into the tower. The door slowly closed. Elias stood still. It's staying here. Seraphine nodded. This is its home, but we carry its message now. They returned to the ship as the Dominion ship flew away, unable to break the shield. Inside the quiet Perseverance, Elias sat down with a heavy heart. We left the crystal behind. No, Seraphine said, placing her hand over his chest. The crystal gave us its heart. It lives in us now. Elias looked at her. So, what do we do next? Seraphine smiled. We find the ones who still believe in peace. We share the truth. Carefully, but bravely. Elias nodded. Then let's begin. As the ship rose into the sky once more, the core of light pulsed below like a silent promise, a promise of hope for all worlds. The stars stretched across the sky like shining rivers as the quiet Perseverance sailed through space once more. Elias sat at the front of the ship, deep in thought. Seraphine stood beside him, quiet and calm. The core of light was far behind them now, hidden and protected, but its warmth still lived in their hearts. They had made their choice to share the truth of the seed crystal and the peace it held, but it would not be easy. Many people and many powers still wanted control. The Dominion, the greedy traders, the secret kings of far-off planets, they all believed power came from owning. Elias and Seraphine knew better. One morning, the ship received a small signal. It came from a planet called Kelmeris, a place known for its neutral ports and quiet thinkers. It's from a group called the Union of Independent Worlds, Elias said. They say they've heard whispers about the seed. They want to talk. Seraphine raised an eyebrow. Do they trust us? I don't think so, Elias said. But they're curious. That's a good start. They agreed to land on Kelmeris. The planet was calm and green. Its cities were built into hills and cliffs, blending with the trees and rivers. Birds flew in the skies, and the air smelled of clean rain. People from many worlds lived there. Humans, insect folk, sky dwellers, and soft-voiced stonewalkers. Most kept to themselves, but none were unkind. Elias and Seraphine were met by a woman named Neravelon, a council leader of the Union. She looked at them carefully. You carry a story that many once silenced. We carry truth, Seraphine replied, and hope. Nera led them through quiet halls to a round chamber filled with leaders. Each one sat behind a glowing ring of light. Speak, Nera said. Tell us why the Dominion hunts you. Tell us why you came. Elias stood up slowly. The seed crystal is not a weapon. It is a memory, a voice from long ago. It wants peace, not war. It gave us knowledge. It showed us the core of light, the home of the Villari. Many faces in the room looked surprised. You saw the core? Someone asked. That's only a myth. Seraphine spoke next. It is real, and it is protected. The seed stayed behind to awaken it, but before that, it gave us its message. That message lives in us now. What is the message? Nera asked. Elias took a deep breath. That true strength is not in power. It is in listening. In peace, the seed brings balance. It can help worlds grow, heal, unite, but only if shared freely, not owned. There was silence in the room. Then someone stood, a quiet man with silver eyes. You ask us to believe a dream. How do we know this isn't a trick? Elias held out a small orb. It had come from the seed crystal before it left them. It held a tiny light inside, like a star. This holds a piece of the seed's memory, he said. It can't be copied, only felt. Nera took the orb and placed it on a table. Instantly, soft light filled the room. It showed images of the core, of peaceful Villari gatherings, of green worlds and quiet stars. It played music that had no words, but made many of the leaders close their eyes with peace. When the light faded, no one spoke for a long time. Then Nera said softly, "We believe you." But another voice spoke up. And what will the Dominion do when they find out? What will the galaxy do when they know peace threatens their profit? Seraphine stood tall. Then we show them we are not afraid. We share the truth slowly, to those who listen, to those who are ready. A new plan began that day. Elias and Seraphine would not tell the whole galaxy, not yet, but they would visit small worlds, teach in hidden places, offer seeds of light and knowledge, not to gain power, but to plant peace. And so they traveled to a farming moon where water was scarce, and showed how the seed's knowledge could purify it, to a broken world once ruled by machines, and shared the story of the core, giving people hope again, to a hidden school where young minds burned bright, and taught them the Villari way, to grow, not to conquer. News began to spread, quietly. Some called Elias and Seraphine the seed bearers. Others said they were just dreamers. A few tried to stop them, but the Union now washed over them. One day, while resting on a peaceful planet called Lorraine, Elias looked up at the sky. "Do you think we're making a difference?" he asked. Seraphine sat beside him. "We are planting light. That is always enough." Suddenly, a small ship landed nearby. A boy stepped out. He was only 12, with curious eyes. "Are you Elias Monroe?" he asked. Elias nodded. The boy held out a tiny stone. "I found this. It glows. I think it's from the seed. I want to learn." Seraphine smiled. "Then come, sit with us." That moment told them everything. The seed's light had reached even the smallest hands. Later that night, Elias whispered to Seraphine, "You know, when we met, I was just a lost traveler. I didn't know what I wanted." Seraphine looked at him, her eyes soft. "And now?" Elias smiled. "Now I know. I don't need to own anything. Not even this ship. I just want to walk beside you." She reached for his hand. "I was made by my people to protect the seed," she said. "But when I met you, I felt something different. You never tried to claim me. You saw me." "I still do," Elias said. And in the quiet night, under a sky full of stars, the message of the seed lived on, in their words, their journey and their bond. They would never be rulers. They would never build an empire, but they had something stronger: truth, light, and love that needed no ownership. The seed crystal had once said, "Everyone wants to own me, but I want you." And now, the galaxy would learn what that truly meant.